Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Meat here. Today we're doing something different for Wrath of the Righteous. This is still in beta or early access. I wanted to put a feeler out there for the people that are turning into my channel because I want to see what you guys would like to see for a Let's Play. The game's coming out, from what I understand, September. I want to say early September, September 7th, September 9th, something like that. At least is the official release date, unless that changes. I'm a fan of Magus class, as you guys probably know from tuning into my channel. It's not to say it's the only class that interests me. I'm just putting out there right now that I do not want to play a wizard, a sorcerer, an oracle, a cleric, a druid. I don't like the high-level casters. And it's not to say they're not awesome. They definitely are. It's just part of the reason I don't like playing them is because they literally get to be very quickly too powerful. And especially with the invention of these Mythic Paths, two in particular, you'd almost want to go, and we'll talk about that in this video as well. If you're going to play a divine caster like a cleric or an oracle, possibly a druid, they haven't released this patch yet that would allow you to do this, but it's probable, I'd say. The Mythic Path Angel Mythic Path allows you to actually get not only a spellbook, like all the Mythic Paths seem to do, it gives you a spellbook that can be merged with the divine caster spellbook, but only a full caster, which is pretty weird. And let me explain first how that actually works. So let's say, I have arbitrary numbers here. Let's say that when you unlock your Mythic Path Angel, you're rank 3, which is what you would be to unlock it. And you are a divine caster. Let's just say you're just playing a generic cleric. Now, let's say your cleric is level 10. Because you unlock the Angel Mythic Path, and if you choose, which apparently is an option for you, you can either have a separate spellbook like everyone else is going to get for the Angel Mythic Path, or if, because you are a full cleric, you can merge your spellbook with it. What does that mean? So you combine those two numbers, and that's your effective caster level for being a cleric now. So 10 and 3 would be 13. You just jumped 3 levels. So put that in the frame of reference. You went from casting level 5 spells to casting level 7 spells in an instant. Okay? That's how freaking powerful that is. And as both of your classes level up, your cleric and your mythic rank, for Angel, of course, you would actually get more levels. So technically speaking, if I understand this correctly, by the end of the game, if you're a 20 level cleric and a 10 level Angel, you would literally have 30 levels of casting, which means you're a 30 level caster. Think about that for a spell that would give you a buff for, say, like Bless, like a 1 minute per caster level. That's a 30-minute buff, okay? Not 20. For DC checks, again, you're going to have spell pen is going to be better because you're a higher caster level. Your DC checks are going to be higher because you have, of course, maxed out your wisdom or whatever casting stat you have. There's a lot of really good stuff that comes from having a merged spellbook. And if you think, well, that's pretty cool, but what about those arcane caster types? That's where the Lich build comes in. The Lich Mythic Path has the same deal where, again, if you are an arcane caster, a full arcane caster, which currently means wizard, sorcerer, and I believe arcanist, not witch, oddly, even though they are a full arcane caster. But those three can merge their spellbooks with the Lich spellbook and have the same principles. And again, that would be freaking cool, and you better believe I'm going to try it. But I don't know that I want to do that for an LP because it would be unwieldy very quickly. You'd be ridiculously OP. And there doesn't seem to be, at least yet in this game, a chance for you to go solo. There's a lot of fights. Those fights are pretty intense. And early levels anyway, since you are fighting demons at every whip stitch, not only is it massive numbers of little bastards, they also have immunities to things like poison, electricity. You also have things that'll annoy the shit out of you, like the ability to have a high spell resistance. So again, being a spellcaster, you can see how quickly you can get screwed. And this is not to say I'm trying to shy away from being a caster. I still love me some Eldritch Scion, my love for that. I mean, I could have some fun playing like a Sword Saint, a Spell Dancer could be interesting, I suppose. An Armored Battle Mage could be interesting. An Arcane Rider could be cool. Again, I don't have any love for, mounting on a pet and whatever and running around and battle that way. But there could be some serious fun here because you don't have to have your pet or your so such to say merged with them and that you're riding on their back and you're protected while they get hurt. You could actually have the pet being on your side, just like the typical ranger or druid that has a sidekick animal companion kind of thing. So I'm not saying limit your choices to Magus or specifically Eldritch Scion because again that is one of my favorites. I'm trying to give you ideas for what I might find interesting as well. Put down in the below here to actually say in the comment section, what you would actually consider. And what I would ask is the following: give me an alignment. Like, do you want a good, a neutral, or an evil playthrough? And I'll explain why that's going to be important later. Give me a race, perhaps. Like if you say, oh, I'd really like to see a Kitsune run, or maybe I always wanted the halfling or the gnome or whatever. And again, it doesn't have to be min-maxed. I appreciate it when people do that, but I don't want to have dictate everything about the build. Like, all right, level 1 you're going to have this, and at level 5 you're going to pick that, and level 16 you're going to have this. And I'll figure that shit out myself. But if you want to see a specific mythic path, again, tell me what you want. If you want to see a specific class, tell me what you want, or subclass even for that matter. Tell me what you want. Put that down below, and again, I'll go through those, see what seems to be a popular idea, or if something strikes my fancy, and I'll say, hey, this is going to be our first Let's Play of this game. I'm probably going to play a good run. I'm probably going to play an evil run. I rarely play neutral. It's not to say I wouldn't do it, and there's reasons for the alignments, and here's why. Currently, it doesn't seem to matter, but I have heard, and this is, again, grapevine and beta, so of course all this is grain of salt kind of shit here, guys. I have currently heard that the different mythic paths have alignment restrictions. They do not, for me anyway, and again, we're in our own test, but people have made the claim online that, if you want to be an angel, you have to have a good alignment. You can't be a lawful evil playthrough and pick the angel. It is a good aligned mythic path. The Azada, another good aligned mythic path. The Aeon, I hope I'm saying it right, is a neutral path. The Trickster, neutral path. Evil for the Lich and Demon. Then for the 3 that unlock apparently extremely late in the game, at least after, I want to say Chapter 5, you can, and of course not currently in beta, you can unlock Gold Dragon, which is good. Legend, which is basically, I don't need no fucking stinking, deity or otherworldly being to make me awesome. I'm awesome all on my own. Legends are neutral. And of course, the evil one that opens supposedly at the end is the Swarm that walks. So again, that's kind of like you're composed of fucking bugs and creepy crawlies and worms and whatever else. You're like the wriggling man, if you will, from Pathfinder Kingmaker. And again, we'd have no idea what those things offer. You better believe I'm going to do a Gold Dragon run at some point, because I'm just going to have to. It'll definitely be an Eldritch Scion. I'll have to pick Gold Dragon as my blood heritage, because fuck yeah. And then I'll just make myself a 16-4 Eldritch Scion, where it's 16 levels of Eldritch Scion, 4 levels of Dragon Disciple, and then Gold Dragon for my Mythic Path, and that's going to be freaking sweet. But then again, that's for later. So let's first talk then about these different Mythic Paths, as well as classes that I think might make sense. So in a nutshell, and again, this is very brief. Certainly there's channels out there that explain every last thing that you will get for being an Angel Mythic Path or the Azada and so on and so forth. But I'm just going to go with the initial reaction. So first things you should know for all these Mythic Paths is it doesn't matter if you are a fighter, a wizard, a cleric, a druid, a rogue, a whatever you pick on our massive fucking list of shit that we get to pick from, not even counting, of course, our prestige classes that you're seeing over here. You will be a caster. Every Mythic Path gets a spell book. And you may say, well, Brother Mutant, I'm planning on playing a fighter, and just a generic fighter at that, a sword and board son of a bitch just going to run out and just like melee shit, because that's what I've always liked playing. I'm going to floor my intelligence, my wisdom, and my charisma, because fuck those stats. I'm going to be a strength, dex, con man, and that's what I'm all about. How the hell could I possibly cast spells? Aha, well, the game devs have actually thought of this and have a really nice workaround. Here's what they did. For your Mythic Path, if you have no spellbook, you will still get a spellbook. So let's take Angel as our top example. You will get a spellbook, and what they do is you will get spells a day. You'll have to pick them. Some Mythic Paths are spontaneous casters. We'll talk about that. And some are, like the Lich and the Angel, will have a spellbook proper, where you actually have to pick your spells every damn day. Well, how do you cast them if you don't have high intelligence or wisdom or charisma? Well, what they do is if you don't have those stats, and you have your generic spell book that's coming from the Angel Path, your spellcaster level first is based on 2 times your mythic rank. So when you get these, will be mythic rank 3, so you'll be a level 6 caster. So you will literally look under your spell book and it'll say caster level 6. Okay, so again, you already are getting juiced a little bit, so you're not quite the pansy that you're starting all the way back at level 1 again, which would straight up suck for those abilities. So you're level 6, it's a nice little kickstart. Then, since you can go 10 ranks, again, double that, again, you would finish, presumably at rank 10 Mythic Path, you'll be caster level 20, but only for that one spellbook. But that's still good. I mean, that's still totally serviceable. It's not a lot of spells, to be real clear. While the Angel Spellbook, we'll talk about that in a little bit, has a decent amount of spells in it, and new spells besides. All these Mythic Paths will. They'll have ones that are intrinsic to their background, if you will. Stuff that, like a Lich Path. You would better expect to see new necromancy spells that no wizard or cleric or anyone else in this game has access to. Only the ones that pick the Lich as their path. It's pretty fucking cool. The other thing that you do is your DC check, which is, again, what we usually talk about when we say, well, I don't have a high intelligence or wisdom or charisma for casting. What the hell are we going to do? Because my DC checks are going to be in the fucking toilet. Well, the way they do this one is a normal DC check, for those of you who don't know, is base 10 plus the level of the spell. Let's say level 1. So 10 plus 1 is 11 is your DC check so far. Plus your casting stat modifier. So let's say it's intelligence, that you're a wizard, and your casting stat modifier just happens to be like a +5. So your intelligence is technically 20. Okay? So you have a 20 intelligence, you got a +5 modifier, so 10 plus 1 plus 5. That would be your level 1 spells DC check base. Again, there's ways to modify that up. You have spells and whatnot that are feats and such that will increase your DC check of certain spells. Not counting that, just generic base. So 10 plus 1 plus 5, and that would be what you'd expect. So a 16, which is not great, it's not awesome, it's not horrible by any stretch of the imagination. So what would you get, though, if you were, let's say, that fighter with no intelligence, wisdom, or charisma to fucking show for it, and you're still trying to cast your spells? Well, they do your base still is 10, the level of the spell is still the level of the spell, so 10 plus 1 again, so 11, plus your mythic rank. So your mythic rank starts off at 3, and then it goes, by this point, of course, it starts off at 3, and then you go 4 or 5 all the way up to 10. So again, 10 plus 1 plus 10, best case scenario, you're at a 21. And while that's clearly better than our 16 example, you'd probably push it higher as a wizard or a cleric or whatever, as a typical caster. You're definitely going to exceed that 10, is my point. Or get real close to it. 10, maybe 7, maybe 9, maybe 12. So again, it's going to be within range, if you will. And you will obviously build into it as you have that mythic path go up and up and up. So that's cool. And that keeps you from being, again, a fighter who has like spells that your spells are going to be complete garbage. It's like, what the fuck is the point? So again, you can do that. You can also do like most people that, again, don't have a high caster stat. And again, Magus being a fine example. A lot of people lean heavy, for example, let me just go with one. A lot of people lean heavy into the fact that Magus are highly intelligent casters. They don't have to have like an intelligence of 19 and then put all 5 points into that to finish with a nice 24. That'd be a +7 to your caster stat, generically speaking. So again, pretty cool, but then they're, only have, like I say, a 16 for strength or a 16 for dex, which doesn't leave them much room for fighting, which is what Magus are also known for. So people would go the opposite route and lean heavy into the high strength or the high dex and have bare minimum intelligence. So like a 16 would be enough to cast all your spells. You wouldn't get a lot of extra spells, and your DC checks are going to be shit, but because of that, they say, fuck it, I don't need DC check. I just need to have spells that buff me and then go to town with my weapon, because that's what a Magus does better than most people. So sure, that's an also viable option then for, say, like a generic fighter that has low intelligence, low wisdom, and low charisma. Find a mythic path that just gives you buff spells. And the Angel does that. They'll give you Bless. They'll give you, I want to say, like Divine Favor and some other ones as we go up, which is, again, pretty fucking cool. So again, there's a variety of neat things that are going to come from having the mythic path. You will feel like a... without in a native connotation, without saying it natively, you are not a multi-classer per se. You could be a generic straight level 20 fighter, but because of your mythic path, you will unlock spellcasting. You will also, depending on the mythic path, will dictate which kinds of summons you get, but you will get free summons, so you'll be a summoner. Whether you want it to be or not, they're going to be there. And again, depending on which mythic path you pick, depends on what type of summons you get. Obviously, angels are going to get angelic ones like divas and whatnot that they'll summon, which are usually just like a fancy way of saying like kind of like bowmen and archers and just all kinds of other weird motherfuckers that are out there. And then they'll have spell casting of their own. And then you'll, if you didn't do that, let's say you went demon, you will summon demons. You will have Trickster. Weirdly, their summons are obviously gimmicky as hell, but sounds pretty fucking funny. Like they summon beer, like actually alcohol golems, so, or elementals. So what my idea on that would be, I haven't seen one yet, and my guess is that it's basically like they took the water elemental skin, the squiggly little water squirming motherfucker, and just made him look like beer, and maybe have like bubbles kicking off him, have like a frothy beer foam head or something, is my guess of what those are going to look like. But it sounds funny as shit. Right now is the Trickster build. Makes sense. So again, lots of weirdness. More weird than that is some of these mythic paths are going to unlock, and I'm not kidding about this, will unlock sneak attack. What does that mean? I have routinely bitched in Kingmaker about how it bugs me, and this is applicable to D&D and Pathfinder pen and paper style. It always bothered me. We usually house rule this shit, that rogues are like the only class, up until I want to say like Slayer came along, that had sneak attack. It is a dumb mechanic. It is, not sneak attack. The fact that rogues are the only get it, it was stupid. Everyone knows how to stab someone in the back. Hell, ever since the first fucking caveman fucking got a wife and another caveman was there to see and got jealous, everyone figured out how to fucking stab someone in the back. It is a thing. We all know how to do it. We just not be great at it like the rogue. But again, everyone figured it out. So I've always maintained that there should have been at least a feat, like a accomplished sneak attacker, where you get a plus 1d6, but only if you already had sneak attack. Bullshit. I think accomplished sneak attacker should be you got a die of sneak attack, period. Whether you had sneak attack before or not, doesn't fucking matter. So anyone at level 1, like a fighter at level 1, could get sneak attack. And again, is that game breaking? No, because again, you don't have multiple feats that allow you to get 1, 2, 3, 7, 20, like the fucking rogue possibly could get. Well, they don't get 20, but they get a lot. The point is, some of these mythic classes will actually unlock and give you a sneak attack die or more. Trickster, or Trickery, I think is the mythic path called Trickery, is one of the ones that gives you multiple. But there is the ability in, I want to say Lich, where you can unlock, I mean you have to pick it, but you can unlock like one sneak attack die. It literally says in the feat where it says it adds to your sneak attack die by 1, and I'm like, does that mean I'm getting sneak attack, or does that mean only if I have sneak attack? And I tested it out, and it appears that I actually have, I mean, just tested it by looking at my feats. It apparently appears that I have sneak attack for a character that never did. And that's pretty fucking cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, 1d6, now we're talking. And if it really does what it should, that means it unlocks the ability for me to pick accomplished sneak attacker. Because again, you cannot pick accomplished sneak attacker in this game unless you have at least 1 die of sneak attack. So that's kind of weird. But again, cool. And again, something that, again, for someone that doesn't like playing fighters, I'm not saying that I hate them. They just always seem blah to me. That's why I like at least some kind of caster, and I usually prefer the spontaneous ones. So that's why I always went with Elder Scion. That doesn't mean that's the only one I like. I love Inquisitors. Inquisitors are fun, and there's, of course, a laundry list of new shit here that I can have some serious fun with. Sanctified Slayer being a fucking pretty interesting one to me. I always love myself a Sacred Huntsmaster. You get yourself a little pet or a monster tactician where you get like massive fucking summons. I mean, you want a summoner build and know the fact that that all these mythic paths are going to give you extra summons besides, which are probably going to be epic beyond all measure. And then throw me a monster tactician build as well, where I'm already a summoner. That I'm going to get those feats that make my summons even better. Well, fuck yeah, because now I'm going to get even more summons when I get my mythic path. This could be fucking cool. So let's again go back now and start talking about the different classes and subclasses that I'm thinking about that might make sense. For an angel, again, no wrong answer here. And again, know that I'm just going for theme here, guys. It's not to say that you can't suggest something else. There's just too many good things that come from theme for me. Because again, it makes the character more interesting. I don't like playing the tiefling that was saved by God. I don't like playing the Aasimar that fell from grace and is now a devil or a demon. Shit like that seems weird to me. But if you want to take an Aasimar and make me a freaking angel mythic path and go with things like, oh, you're an Inquisitor because, of course, Aasimar. So it sounds fucking sweet. Or I think War Priests are in this game now. Is that right? Yeah, like a War Priest could be fun too because these are subcasters, but it's still fun to me. And by subcasters, know that I mean, they can cast at like level 6. Or, even like the Paladins and Rangers are like level 1, 2, 3, and 4. They never get level 0 cantrips. Was way around that. And nothing beyond level 4. So they don't even get 5 and up spells. Those are fun. And I enjoy playing those too. And again, our Mythic Path will allow us to get spells at least up to like 4, 5, 6. Some of them, like Angel and Lich, can get all the way up to like level 9. Or I think if someone even said level 10 spells in their spellbook. Remember, it's a separate spellbook. So I'll still have fun with those. But again, try to keep me to the subcaster. So we're talking about things like war priests, no wizards, no witches, no sorcerers. I don't think there's a slayer that has any spell casting. Just briefly. Can't cast spells, can't cast spells, no. But that, again, doesn't mean that you can't pick a slayer. Skalds have a spell casting. They're basically barbarian, or sorry, yeah, kind of like barbarian bards, so to speak. So they rage a little bit from what I understand, and they get some spell casting like a bard does. Those could be interesting. Never played one of those before. Shamans are a full caster, I believe. Yeah, all the way up to 9, so pass on those. Rogue, on the other hand, there is not only fun with rogues, but there's also my favorite, Eldritch Scoundrel. And it says can't cast spells, so that's clearly a lie. So this guy here, there we go. Literally cast cantrips and all the way up to level 6 spells, and again, a full spell book up to level 6, of course, just like a wizard could. But no level 7, 8, or 9 spells. Which, again, is still fine with me. And I get sneak attack. So, again, weapon finesse and all kinds of other cool shit for free. So, it's a really fun class to play, in my opinion. So, a dex intelligence build, obviously. Rangers, obviously fun. And, again, spell casting, like we talked about. But no cantrips, but level 1 through 4 spells. And some really good spells in there that, they'll flesh them out and make them helpful and viable for the team. Same with paladins. No oracles. They are full casters. Monks... I'm not trying to say no, but again, it kind of falls in that category of fighter. They can do a lot of shit. Don't kid yourself, and better than fighters when they finally work for it. But it's still one of those where it's running around punching dragons with your fists seems dumb to me. Everyone's mileage varies on this, but it's one of those where it feels weird, man. I mean, at early levels, when you, like in Kingmaker, was fine because you're usually fighting humanoid and monsters and trolls and stuff that you can wrap your head around, ninja kicking them in the kneecap or some shit. But you're fighting a dragon, and I'm supposed to believe that I stunned the dragon with my ninja fists? Come on, dude. I mean, I know it's a magical realm and all, but this guy ain't even working with magic. He's just relying on his little fucking training, and he's supposed to be able to take out a dragon. That just seems funny to me. Megas, of course, like I said, I love Megas, so again, feel free to recommend them, and recommend stuff that I don't normally play, ones that are new, Spell Dancer, Hexcrafter, Eldritch Archer is not new, but it's a fun one. The Armored Battle Mage, Arcane Rider. Again, lots of good stuff up in here. Don't ever suggest Kineticist to me. Sorry. For those of you that love Kineticist, hey man, rock that ship. These are the ones that always feel to me like the Warlock that we never got for Pathfinder. And I don't like Warlocks, and I don't like Kineticist. These are the ones where they just get like way OP very quickly, and I'd be more inclined to min-max a Kineticist build, because they have limited uses. Hell, I don't even really, quite frankly, understand the kinetics, the mechanics of the burn, the elemental focus, and the infusions and stuff that they do. It's too fiddly, and once I learn it, and I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to figure it out, but once I learn it, it'll be like, and I cast this, and I buff with that, and then I cast this, and then I cast this again, and then it's dead. Okay, move on to the next fight. They're very one-trick ponies. They're huge damage, and they can really just ruin a fucking game. But it's one of those where ruin it in a bad way, where you just like, and you activate the 2 or 3 abilities that are basically win moves of the fight, and then it's over, and then I heal up, and they go on to the next room. Boring. Inquisitors are, on the other hand, fun. As I said, and again, spontaneous casters, and these are the not clerics per se, but it's the divine casting spellbook mostly. There's some stuff in there that they get that clerics wouldn't. Not much, but I do like the fact that the generic Inquisitors, even and some of these other guys, not all, but some of these other guys get the Judgment ability that you're seeing down here. These ones are fun. Bane Weapon, that's a limited use thing. The solo tactics, again, very cool, and don't trick yourselves into thinking that this makes you awesome. For a solo playthrough, it can. The trick on this, though, is you have to have an ally of some kind. That can be a summoned monster. That can be your Sacred Huntsmaster, animal companion, pet. But you have to be standing near them. But your tactics, for those of you that don't know, tactics are a feat pick. Several that fall under the category of it being a tactic. And you get some for free for being a Inquisitor, which is fucking awesome. But the reason for solo tactics is, normally, for a tactic feat, you have to have the feat, and your ally has to have the feat, and you have to be standing near each other for the feats to work. It makes for a really nice not co-op, but like a team-friendly interaction. Which again, hence tactics. You know, it's like I learned how to defend myself. He learned how to defend himself. So it's a feat called back to back, where clearly, if you guys are close to each other, you both get a bonus to your armor class. Right? But the way solo tactics works is I have the feat, and it just assumes you have the feat. Doesn't mean you do. You don't benefit from it at all, but I still get my benefit, and that's not normal. That's not something that normally happens. But Inquisitors get it, like I said, because of solo tactics for free. And that's what solo tactics really gives you. And again, some serious fun here. And with the Mythic Path, there's some serious fun to be had for the Inquisitor. Angel Path being just one of them. But there's some serious fun with the Azada, the Aeons. Again, a lot of these guys feel divine, if you will. And as such, adding to my spellbook, or I should say, getting an additional spellbook on the side, could flesh out and enhance my abilities. Hell, I'm even tempted to play an Inquisitor that's and Inquisitors, by the way, have a deity. Be one that's an evil Inquisitor that goes Lich path, just so I could be like, I'm like using my deity to get a stepping stone into being a Lich. And most people are like, well, aren't Liches, they're traditionally like arcane casters? Yes, which is why the Arcane Spellbook for Lich. Doesn't mean you had to be. Again, there's Liches out there, I'm sure, that are clerics. So you just got to do the right rituals and so on and so forth. Well, again, we're getting it as part of our mythic rank. I can pick Lich, if I so choose, at any class again. So Inquisitor could be fun. And it would give me some arcane casting, so to speak, that I wouldn't get from the Inquisitor spellbook. So the Inquisitor's got all about the buffs and the healing and the typical cleric shit. And Paladin too. So the Inquisitor's kind of like that. And then throwing me a spellbook that gives me some attack spells, like necromancy spells, like up to yin yang. Fuck yeah. I would love to see a nice Lich build from one of these. So again, that's a solid option. A Hunter, I don't know anything really about these guys. They do seem to have spell casting. It's kind of fucking cool. They don't have cantrips. I wonder why they get 0 or 1 through 6 instead of 1 through 4 like the Ranger. So this looks like a better version than the Ranger. But interesting. Fighter, again, nothing wrong with fighters. Don't give me like the weird builds, though, guys, like the Tower Shield Specialist. That just seems odd to me. And I'm not poo-pooing the... what do you call them? They're up here, Cavalier. Not poo-pooing the people that ride mounts and stuff. I'm not saying that I wouldn't play a playthrough like that, just to see what it feels like. I'm more inclined to have that on a teammate. So hopefully we get a teammate, a companion or something that's a Cavalier or something similar, where they have a mount that they can hop on. I can explore the mechanics of that, but it still feels weird. I'm more inclined to have my pet buddy being on my side. You know, like we said with the the Sacred Huntsmaster, where you have your animal companion. And you literally have him as a little buddy, big buddy, that can like maul the face of someone while I'm using my spells or my arrows or my weapon to fucking help maul the shit out of them. So there's some fun to be had there. Again, no druid, no cleric, even with the ones that are weak or weird. Again, I'm still not a fan of these guys because, again, they just become too OP very quickly. Cavalier, they don't have any spells apparently, but again, they all seem to fall into that category of not quite a fighter, but again, a little bit of the guy that hops on a mount. Bloodragers, on the other hand, these are new-ish in that I've played them before in Kingmaker, but only with mods. So it's nice that they added this to the game, and again, pretty fucking badass. Notice that there's ones that are locked, where you have to be a tiefling to actually play it, or a specific race, I should say, to play a specific thing. So usually that's what that means. Doesn't mean you can't pick it, just know it's going to change your model immediately. So again, those can be fun. And again, spellcaster, subcaster, 0 or 1 through 4, so no cantrips. Again, a way around that, but still pretty fucking cool. And then again, you throw in some other casting on top of that once you get your different mythic paths. There could be some serious fun here. And again, just generically speaking, Blood Rager generic, or Green Rager, possibly a Spell Eater. Steel Bloods are interesting, and they're like full plate mail kind of motherfuckers. And these ones are fun to me because not only do you get full base attack bonus progression, where you get like a fighter by the level 20, you're level plus 20 to your swing. It's fucking huge. I mean, it's not amazing compared to a 15, but it's still way better. And you can see the appeal here. And throwing the fact that you have a little bit of spell casting. You also have a bloodline, which more on that later. And then you have the fact that you have some spells, not an amazing amount. You can still rage like a barbarian. It's like a fucking catch of everything here. And it's like a master of everything. It's like the bard that we're about to talk about. So again, very cool. And I kind of dig the Blood Rager. Bard. again, not enough good things to say about this. Arcane Bloodline, spontaneous spellcasters. However, again, they are subcasters. They get cantrips all the way up to level 6 spells. Not a lot in the way of spell that are attack spells. A lot of buffs, a lot of heals, weirdly, for an arcane caster, which I kind of dig the Bard for that reason. They got a lot of skills. They got those songs, of course. Almost all of them do, if not all of them. So, fucking awesome. Buff your team. Be the center focal point and run into battle screaming a fucking jaunty tune. Who doesn't love that shit? And Bards are fucking awesome. And they're the face of the team. Everyone that's ever played a Bard or had a Bard on their D&D companion or campaign knows that Bards are usually the face because they're the high charisma, because charisma is their casting stat. So they're the ones that are going in and romancing all the dragons and demons and everything else and having fucking children all over the place. But Bards are just fucking cool to play, let's just fucking say it. And there's some interesting ones in here. I've done videos in the past about Flame Dancers and Thunderclaws, and if you want to have some serious fun, those two are fucking sweet. A Lich Bard that uses the Dirge Bard is kind of interesting to me, because the Dirge Bard, for those of you who don't know, they're all about death and suffering, and like they can animate dead with like their songs. So you kill someone in combat, sing a song, and those dead rise from the fucking grave and fight on your side. How weird is that shit? So again, this could be a really interesting way into like the Lich Path, and just, or not way into it, like a melding of themes for a Lich Path. You want to have yourself some solid fucking just damaging paths. Flame Dancers could be fun, and Bards, for those of you that don't know, are one of the classes that can actually go Dragon Disciple. And it's very weird, and most people don't, because they don't have usually elemental attacks. The only elements that they usually attack with are Sonic, and there's no Sonic Dragon class out there. So it's kind of wasted on the Bard, you may think. But if you play a Flame Dancer, follow my old video on that, you can play like a level 10 or higher Flame Dancer. You will unlock 3 fire spells. Not amazing, I'll grant you, but you'll get Burning Hands, Scorching Ray, Burning Hands, Burning Arc, and Fireball. And those 3 spells, while not amazing, are decent, and they are obviously fire damage, and you can use those spells in conjunction with, say, a fire dragon background, like a gold dragon, for instance, and have a bonus to your fire damage as a result. So that'd be kind of interesting. And again, you can make yourself a strength-based bard that way. So it'd be a 16 strength and a 19 charisma, and points distributed for everything else at normal, and have some serious fun. They're like skilled in fucking everything, so like every damn class skill is pretty much their oyster. You just put a point in it, and suddenly they have like a 4 or higher in rank already in that skill at like level 1, which is pretty crazy. And they can heal themselves. They can heal the team. They can attack. They can buff. They can fucking do it all. I mean, let's just fucking say it. The only thing that they can't really do is sneak attack. And again, we already talked about how the fact there's Mythic Path that unlock that shit. This is fucking awesome. So Bards can be seriously fun. One of my more interesting ones that I'm toying with the idea of being an Archaeologist Bard, because these guys get crazy, because their songs only really affect them. Which is, again, selfish, but fuck you, it's my playthrough, and I like being cool. So again, why not be the Archaeologist that runs through and just has some fun? I mean, I'll have the team still, but I'll be focusing on me. Like these guys are my companions only because I basically hire them. They're my muscle. Keep shit off me while I'm casting my spells and keeping myself alive. But again, if I shut off XP share and I'm all about using my class skills, you can't go much worse than being an Archaeologist. Much better than going to Archaeologist, because they get a lot of really good shit, like the Archaeologist Luck. Bardic Knowledge is still there, so like they get some serious class skill bonuses to your knowledges and your war skill checks. So again, a lot of real fun here you can have. With a minimal intelligence of like 12 or 14, you'd have a really, really nice build. And again, any of these bards, including the Archaeologist, can go 4-level dip into, say, Dragon Disciple to get like 4 extra strength points. So seriously fun class to play. Barbarians are fun. This is the exception to the fighters for me. Like, again, I'll play a fighter if you guys want me to play one. Like, universally, or like I see like a lot of people say, be a fighter. Alright, I'll do that thing. But I like barbarians too. And again, similar to how I like Bloodragers, but I like Bloodragers for the obvious spellcasting ability. Barbarians are fun. I love playing Amiri. She was fucking my go-to bitch, man. She was my A1 since day one. That bitch was going through it just crushing shit. Because you just give her a big-ass sword and finally let her scream and rage a little bit, and heads are getting lopped off. And there's some serious fun shit to have in here. There's even, I want to say, is it Mad Dog that gets a fucking animal companion? Yeah. There's some serious fun to be had here. I'm talking about your pack ragers and all this other weird shit. What the Pack Rangers got going for them? Anyway, new classes and stuff, and then the Armored Hulk, again, that's another example of one that's a typical barbarians are, medium armor, leather clad or breastplate and high wearing motherfuckers. Armored Hulks allow it to wear all the way up to like full plate mail, I want to say, very early, if not level 1, and are just like juggernauts on the battlefield. So you can see the fun you have here. And again, barbarians, similar to our fighters and our Bloodragers, they get a full base attack bonus progression, which means by level 20, you have a plus 20. It's pretty fucking fun. Arcanists don't bother because, again, these are full casters, and these are weird full casters. Not to say they're not great. They definitely are. They are, again, another one of these are like damn near broken. They're so fucking good. For those of you that don't know what an Arcanist is, this gets confusing, especially when you talk about like D&D lore, because for those that have played enough D&D, you know that wizards weren't wizards at like the first edition. The wizards were actually, I want to say, we called them magic users, or the class. There was no sorcerer. There's no concept of what a sorcerer was. It was a magic user. And then, of course, we got wizards, and then we got sorcerers from there. There's also an Arcanist that was opened up, and it's almost like they just changed the name of a wizard, and you're like, oh, I guess they're Arcanists now. Well, Arcanists are actually special in that they have a spell book, I want to say proper, like a wizard. However, they have like Arcanist points that allow them to swap spells out on the fly, kind of make them feel like spontaneous casters, like a sorcerer. So they're kind of like the hybrid between the two, which you can only imagine how ungodly powerful that fucking is. So imagine being a wizard that can spontaneously cast. Just be like, oh, I didn't prepare that spell today. Fuck it. Man, I'm going to use an arcane point or Arcanist point. And bam, I suddenly have that spell. Thank you, Arcanist levels. So you can see the fun you can have here. But again, they're full casters, so pass on those. Alchemists, on the other hand, are fucking fun. And Vivisectionists being the monsters for, again, another one of those rare classes that have sneak attack built into them. They don't have bombs, though. And you may say, well, who gives a shit if you got sneak attack? You can just go in and Ginsu chef them. And I have plenty of builds for Vivisectionists that I could dust off and fucking use and improve upon, of course, with all these damn Mythic Paths. So again, fucking cool. But one of my favorites has been the Grenadier always and forever for a couple of reasons. One, they get bombs and they still get their mutagen. They don't have any sneak attack, but again, now we have ways to get that back, which is fucking sweet. Thank you, Mythic Path. But they get brew potions for free, and again, if you've ever watched my playthroughs for how to make Jubilos a monster, because he's an alchemist and kingmaker, most of that's applicable for the Grenadier that you make for your main character. The reason for that is they have these things called discoveries, and these discoveries can increase a variety of things. I'm going to give you a couple for instances. One of my favorites are these two called Enhance Potion and Extend Potion. These two do for the Alchemist what the Scroll Savant, who is a teammate that can be on your party called Ninio, does for scrolls. They literally take potions and make them better. The Scroll Savant takes scrolls and make them better. That's their fucking shtick. And again, you get two of those on a party, the only thing that's missing then is, like, in my opinion, a Magus who can take a wand and make it better. So again, you got like a trifecta of fucking fun right there. If you wanted to make a custom party, which weirdly in this game doesn't seem to be a thing. Yeah, we have the ability to hire mercenaries, but you're probably still, you want a full team of 6. You're not making this game easy by doing it. So I'm sure someone by the end of this full release of this game will have a fucking solo playthrough by the end of it. And it'll be posted up, and it'll be fucking fun to watch it. But it'll be one of those where it's like, how the fuck do you do some of these fights solo? Because there's just too many bad guys to kill. And you're not leveling up fast enough, in my opinion, to get to a place where you're safe and you could solo and be like, I'm awesome, and I'll just solo from this point on. I don't see it. So, man, maybe I'm wrong. But it's going to be fun to see, like, at the hardest difficulty, someone like Mithrils do his fucking solo playthrough with his Sorcerer or his Eldritch Knight or, whatever he makes this time. Because there's a lot of new shit. Anyway, back to my Alchemist Grenadier. There's some serious fun with those potions, and the reason for that is that Enhanced Potion and Extend Potion discoveries can take the potions and either double the duration, that's the Extend Potion, so a potion that only lasts you 1 minute, now 2. And you may think, who gives a shit? I mean, it's 2 minutes. Well, yeah, but that's this room and the next room. I don't have to keep chugging fucking potions, and I can't even imagine, side note here, I can't even imagine how often adventurers must piss simply because all the potions that they fucking chuck, right? Because it's not like it just gets absorbed to your body and you don't fucking urinate now. So suddenly there has to be so much pee in the Pathfinder and D&D Kingdom. That's got to be why everything's so rich and lush and growing so much. Because there's just so much fucking urine out there, is my guess. Anyway, the potions are interesting for me because, again, they're always there. And now we have the ability to craft potions while we're mapping them. Which, by the way, side note again, you want to make sure to get those kits. The ones that allow you to scribe scrolls and the ones that allow you to fucking brew potions. You want to get those early levels because I haven't found a vendor that sells me that shit yet past that early vendor. So once you see that shit, grab that. And I don't think you need to have a kit for everybody. I think you just need to have it in your kitty where everybody has access to it. And then if they have access to the skill like the Grenadier gets for free, as you can see here, brew potions, they get it for free. During camping, once you have that kitty and of course all the ingredients, you can actually select them to brew potions as their side job. And that's cool, because again, now I have a renewable resource, much like our spells, and there's some other fun shit to have with those, like the enhanced potion discovery can take a potion that's has a set caster level and make that caster level equal to your Grenadier or your Alchemist level, or Vivisectionist, or whatever subclass you pick here. And that's fucking money. So again, a spell that would only last for 1 minute, because it's caster level 1, Bless is a fine example. It's a nice spell, but wouldn't you like it to last 20 minutes or 40 minutes? I know I would. So get Enhanced Potion and Extend Potion and get to a level 20 Alchemist or subclass of Alchemist with those two discoveries, and you will be casting potions, spells from potions, as if you were a caster level 20. And that's, again, those spells are going to be buffs. So, do you give a fuck? Don't you want to be buffed? Don't you want to buff your team? Don't you want to give them Shield of Faith, where they literally, instead of having a +2 buff for like 5 minutes of lame, wouldn't you rather give them a 40-minute buff that's a +5 to their armor class instead of a +2? Fuck yeah, I know I do. So again, go for the Alchemists. Alchemists are fun. And I like Grenadier for 2 other reasons. One is at level 1 to level 2, they get the ability to, when they throw their bombs, they don't hurt the team. And yes, all the other alchemists that have bombs can get that too. They have to burn a discovery on it though, where Grenadiers get it for free. So I like that. And the other thing Grenadiers get that the other guys don't seem to, I haven't checked the other dudes, the new ones, but the Grenadiers versus the Alchemist, the Chirurgeon, or the Vivisectionist anyway. The Grenadier gets proficiencies in simple weapons and martial weapon proficiency. There it is, down here. So that's one of the few things that Grenadiers get that the other guys don't, which is pretty fucking cool. They're intelligence-based as far as their spells. And yes, I call them spells. They even call them spells. It's not considered spells. They're considered elixirs or kind of like potions. They're not, but you can think of it in that regard. But they are spell slots. You can prepare them ahead of time like a spell would, and you can use them. The weird thing is you can only use them on yourself. Again, there's a discovery around that. And there's some mythic paths that make it really fucking interesting, that things you can do as an alchemist in general with your things that are called infusions, where you can use them on a teammate or a bad guy for that matter. So again, like I get like a lot of heal spells as an alchemist, like your cure light wounds, cure moderate wounds, things of this nature. And for those of you that don't know, you can use those to not only heal yourself. With infusion, you can use them to heal your team or your pets or things of that nature. You can also use them to target undead, because you can cast it on anyone now. You can take that same spell and cure light wounds on an undead, and if you don't know this, you probably should know it because it's important. You can use your cure spells to hurt undead. So, as a Grenadier Alchemist, not only do I have bombs, not only do I have buffs, not only do I have spells that heal me, with infusion, I can actually use that to hurt undead. So I could be like an undead, kind of like a Velmont, and going around looking for vampires to kill and shit like that, and saying fuck the undead. And that can be kind of cool. And I can fucking dig a playthrough like that. You get some armor. Your spells aren't impeded by armor. You're not considered an arcane caster or a divine caster for that matter. You're just considered a guy that has spells, which is fucking cool. And you got bombs. And we haven't even talked about that. Those are fucking money. And those who don't know, you can sneak attack with bombs. I don't have sneak attack though. But again, we have Mythic Path that can unlock that. So you can see that there's a lot of choices here. So now let's actually back out of here and show you the Mythic Paths that I've already thinked around with. So notice we have Angel, Trickery, excuse the typos, I was drinking that night and I was tired. Same with my Mystic rank 3, that's where Mythic rank 3 was. And again, I'll show you that because I can show you how we level up. But this is give you an example of the ones that I've unlocked. I didn't unlock everything, which is why this video isn't really going into all the details of every mythic rank. It is, though, one that I want to showcase a little bit about, what these things do and how you level up, because it is important. The first thing you need to know is, I cheated at a power level with my character using a mod, getting him to level 20, so thinking wrongly that I just stormed through this fucking missions to get to the mythic ranks as soon as possible. This took this fucking long to get to this, and I've been playing it, yes, on the side while I've been doing other videos, of course, but I thought for sure I'd have mythic rank 3 and unlock these paths way before now, so this took a while. And part of the reason for that is I didn't power level the team. Yes, they all have the same potential. You can see the pluses here. I didn't force level them to 20 like I did my character, with the exception of him. And it's because I needed to prove something to myself. Notice when I unlock mythic ranks, that's what this big M is. All these guys have M's as well, partly because I just leveled up, and so did they, because they level up with you. Because they're your mythic companions, is what they call it. You can't pick upgrades to their mythic companions, the stuff that I'm going to show you for my character, which is basically mythic abilities. They get them too. You can't pick them, though, if they have a level still to pick. So these guys are not mythic companions technically yet, with the exception, again, of him, because I force leveled him to 20. I just said, keep going, monk. You're doing fine, buddy. Keep going, monk. Get better bows? Sure. Go, monk. And then when we got to that, I could actually make him, just to show it to you, a mythic path companion. So he literally unlocked this at level 1 mythic rank. And I gave him Abundant Key, because why the fuck not? And then I gave him Deadly Aim. So they'll get mythic abilities. All these guys will. They'll get mythic abilities, and they'll get mythic feats. And these is alone fucking amazing. This will make you a monster. But this here, I think, was part of the reason that I was having difficulty. I'm assuming, I wasn't paying attention, but I'm assuming that since this allows us to bypass damage reduction, N refers to a number / epic. And the only way to get this is you are a mythic companion or a mythic hero, which is what I am. I unlocked this at 1, but you have to level up. So these guys here that haven't leveled up, they don't have this. So I assume this is for boss fights. Because again, I wasn't paying attention to the combat logs. I was just trying to marshal through these motherfuckers. And we did so, but some of them are a little more difficult than I thought. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm level 20. How am I not face stomping these sons of bitches? It's because my teammates suck. Because I didn't unlock this for them, I think. This stuff, of course, is just extra fiddly bits, but definitely makes you fucking OP. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about it for my characters. So let's press M. Notice our mythic path up until this point was called Mythic Hero. Weirdly, and this has got to be a glitch, Mythic Hero and Devil unlocked at the same time. So at rank level 1, I could pick Devil. So I got to assume that's a glitch. And plus, Devil seems to be broken. They don't get spells, and there doesn't seem to be anything really interesting about them. There's a few fiddly bits. They get like a weird stare, or the ability to buff their teammates and shit like that. But it's very limited, let's just say it that way. So I assume that this is just something that they're working on. They just haven't fixed it yet. But as far as the ones that are available, Angel, and the ones that I've unlocked, I should say, are Angel, Demon. These ones, any of them will unlock these. So if you wanted to play an Angel or a Demon, you know that by the time you get to Mythic Rank 3, these will always be options for you. So at the very least, you're not limited to being just a hero. No offense. There is some effort to become a Lich. I went for that effort because I wanted to see what it had to offer. The same with Trickster. It's not hard, but again, it's easy to fuck it up. You will stumble upon it. Most likely, I think you have no choice. And when you do stumble upon it, it'll be do you want to do something tricky? And like it'll show up in your dialogue text, and you'd be like, yeah, I don't really care. You actually do care. Do the thing. It's a very funny interaction. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's a little funny interaction. It's nothing amazing. But then at that point, you really unlock Trickery, or Trickster, Mythic Path. You don't get it. Obviously, I get it now if I choose. But it opens up the possibility, say it that way. Same with Lich. Again, there's a lot of fiddly bits to doing that shit, and shit that you just wouldn't normally think. You're like, oh, I will totally do that thing. Why would you do that thing? Now you just fucked yourself out of becoming a Lich. Oh, whoops. And again, we'll talk about this when we actually play the game. If you say, hey, be a Lich, which again, I'm for. You know me, I love me, my Necrolord. And I'll dust off an old Eldritch Scion build that has an undead bloodline and fucking have all kinds of fun being all liching it up in here. So, fucking suggest that shit. Or again, Inquisitor, or whatever ideas you may have. Trickster, though, is interesting. Lich is interesting. And again, Trickster lends itself to if I were to categorize it for shit that it kind of reminds me of, think of all those pranky interactions with the Fae. You know, little fuckers that are like tying your fucking shoelaces together while they're invisible and making you fucking face plant, or like leaving the whoopee cushion on your chair when you go to meet the queen, kind of shit, so you embarrass yourself. Shit like that. That's your trickster path in a nutshell. And all these guys, remember, every last one of these, with the exception of Devil so far, you are going to get a spell book. You are going to get summons. You are going to get buffs and debuffs besides. So, again, we're not min-maxing here. We're just, again, going for theme, going for stuff that you want to see. So if you want to see what the Trickster has to offer, I have a half a dozen ideas already for what would make an interesting Trickster build. Trickster builds, for those of you that don't know, also, we'll show you here in a little bit, but they do give you sneak attack die. So again, another fun way of just adding to your fucking damage output. So anyone can benefit from any of these paths. So again, don't say, oh, fighter, you'll have to be, you know, a demon because, you know, again, attacking shit, or a lich because, again, you know, attacking shit. No, angels have buffs and heals, and fighters can use that shit and have fun with it. Fighters can use all the sneak attack die that you can get from being Trickster. Again, nothing wrong with any of these. The two that I didn't unlock are Aeon and Azadas, which is a damn shame. And they're so far back in the game. I can, of course, tell you how to do this, and other people have done videos on it as well. So I'm not going to waste my time right now. But to go back to the spot to unlock them and do it right and make it a choice, it's not worth it to me right now. When we play the game official, I'll make sure to unlock every fucking Mythic Path, and I'll make sure to make a note of it to you guys when we do the playthrough and say, hey, this is how you're going to have to unlock the Aeon. Make sure to do the thing that I'm about to do in this video. This is how you unlock the Azada. Pay attention because you're going to need it for Azada, and I'll label the video appropriately. How to unlock Azada, you know, let's play, you know, video number 20 or whatever, and walk you guys through it. So the idea is when we unlock our Mythic Paths, everyone is available. The only exception to those rules are those three down here that we talked about in passing, but again, this is like Gold Dragon, and from what I understand, these three will unlock, not because it's in beta, it's because we don't get high enough. Eventually you get the ability to say, nope, I'm going to be good, I'm going to be a Gold Dragon, or I'm going to be my own hero, and it's the legendary Mythic Path, or I'm going to be evil as fuck, so I'm going to be the creepy crawly one. And that's what these three are. So again, we'll delve into those when those are available to everybody, of course, as well too. But you better believe that I'm going to use any of these paths and have some serious fun. And there is, again, and I cannot stress this enough, because I know there's min-maxers out there that are all about, you got to be a Wizard Lich, you know. Sure, it's going to be fucking fun, and you will have a blast doing that shit. And I love me some undead armies. You guys know how that fucking is. But it's still one of those where I like outside-the-box thinking. I like, you know, again, my subcasters. I like building into me being powerful. Not just, you know, I'm level 10. Fuck you, bitches. I got level 5 spells, and before long, I'm going to be level 6, 7, 8, 9 spells. And, you know, casting Wish and everything else under the sun just to, like, ruin every fight. That's boring to me. So I do like, you know, busting out a weapon, you know, getting on my armor, buffing up with all the kinds of other fucking shit that we have available to us, and just going to town and mowing shit down. So again, some serious fun to be had here. As far as the paths are concerned, let's back out of it. Well, actually, no, let's go into it. Let's just pick Angel. Just because I want to show you something else. That's the mythic abilities. Notice I'm already mythic rank 3. Remember, you unlocked this earlier in the game, and I can't discount how important mythic abilities are. That's these guys over here. Notice how I have abundant casting. I did it because I wanted to test some things out. These do work. And something else to note is our spellbooks that are fucking awesome for the mythic paths. I mean, work with these as well. Let me explain what abundant casting does. Abundant casting is a mythic ability that literally allows you, if you are a caster, for your level 1, your level 2, and your level 3 spells, you get 4 extra spells a day. Now, if that's like a wizard where you have spell slots that you have to pick and choose, you get 4 new spell slots for each of those levels. That's 12 new spells a day, baby. Boom, dumped in your lap. For a spontaneous caster, like my Eldritch Scion, or a Sorcerer, or an Inquisitor for that matter, you literally get 4 more spells a day for level 1, 4 more spells a day at level 2, 4 more spells a day at level 3. And again, those are spontaneous casting, so it could be any fucking spell from your level 1 spell list, or level 2, or level 3, you get the idea. Then you can unlock improved abundant casting, just like it sounds. Instead of it being 4 more spells for level 1, 2, or 3, no, it's actually 4 more spells for level 4, 5, and 6. Fuck yeah, and you gotta believe that if that's there, then there's gotta be a greater abundant casting, and sure as shit there is, and that's for level 7, 8, or 9. So again, for you wizard, sorcerer, high level casters out there, you can grab 1, 2, 3 feats and add 12, 12, and 12 more spells to your spells a day. That's 36 fucking spells. Throw in a new spell book because you're an angel, and again, maybe you're a wizard that wanted healing spells. This is a separate spell book. But again, still benefits from the 12, the 12, and the 12 if you get up to level 9 spells, and Angel and Lich Paths apparently do. So again, you can see the fun you can have here with just a shit ton of fucking spells. That's awesome, and that's power. That's not the only thing that's power over here. That's why I wanted to show you the mythic abilities. So let's go through these, every last one of them, and just give you a brief, what do I think about them? Always a chance, briefly, just like it says here, the benefit, you don't automatically miss when you roll a natural 1 on an attack roll. So let's say you have a you're a fighter, a barbarian, someone with a high fucking attack bonus, you've been buffed up to yin yang with spells from your teammates and what have you, and you're swinging with like a plus 50. Literally, a 1 will always fail because it's a crit failure. Well, now it isn't. That's all this does. Well, what is a natural 1? That's a 5% chance that you'll get a nat 1. And when it happens, hey man, that shit sucks. But now you take that penalty away. If you could have hit with a 1, you will hit. Yay, I guess. But it's only a 5% chance that you roll a 1, or it's a 20-sided die. There's 19 other choices there. Randomly, of course, you could get a 1, and a 1 back to back to back. It's fucking uncommon, but it's fucking annoying when it happens too. So again, I could see people saying, I don't like missing. Alright, but do you have a really good attack bonus? Do you have the chance to hit even if it is a 1? Because these motherfuckers, I can tell you right now, I'm not on the hardest difficulty. These bastards have some fucking armor. So again, yeah, I could see it. And if you're hard pressed for shit, but to me it feels like a trap. Archmage armor, another example of one that feels like a trap. And actually, I don't mind this one so much, but it depends. Again, this is situational. Obviously, you need to have mage armor as a spell. And I have heard, I haven't tested it myself, but I have heard that this will work with like wands or scrolls or potions. So don't discount the fact that you have no ability to cast spells. Like maybe you're a fighter with this, but you want to run around butt-ass naked for some reason. Get yourself a used magic device that's through the fucking roof and a nice mage armor wand, and you can have at least a +4 armor class. Well, with this ability, you use your mythic rank gets added to it for the extra armor. So right now you'd be a 4 plus a 3, so you'd have a 7 armor class added to it for casting the spell. By the end, it'd be 10 and 4, so it'd be 14 armor. Now, I can see this being fun on someone like a fucking sword saint, someone who's already naked anyway, wearing robes and what have you, or a monk, shit like that. And again, if it can be cast from a scroll or a wand or a potion, potions are fucking cheap. Buy a fucking shit ton of those bastards and go to town. But this is an ability, and it's a very precious ability and a very limited resource. You only get so many of these little fuckers as we go up. So why would you want to waste it on something that's a one and done buff? Again, it's kind of like the missing here. If it only works on one spell, it seems like a waste to me. Anyway, Ascendant Element. Now these are the ones that I fucking are money. I'm playing right now a dragon, a black dragon, and the reason I'm playing a black dragon is because I can do acid damage. Not that that matters per se. It just is that it's not electric damage, and demons I happen to know are immune to electricity, and I think poison. So it really fucks over Magus in a profound way until you get level 1, and if you were smart, which I was not, and you grab yourself Ascendant Element and say Abundant Element Electricity, or sorry, Ascendant Element Electricity, and literally now you ignore their resistances or immunities to that element type only. So again, that Shocking Grasp, remember this is why I say for a Megas we get bone. Shocking Grasp is one of your best spells because you can channel it level 1 into your weapon at level 2, and you swing it, and when your weapon hits, the spell discharges. If the weapon crits, so you're a crit fishing build, the spell crits. So of course, why wouldn't you want to do this, Brother Mutant? Because again, electricity is something that demons are immune to, and you're fighting demons all the fucking time. Not all the time, but enough that it's annoying. This is your main bread and butter attack. But so there's another level 1 spell that's similar. It's called Corrosive Touch, and again, as it sounds, does acid damage, and demons aren't immune to acid. They are resistant, little fuckers, but at the very least I have a chance of hurting them. So I switched to being a black dragon for that reason. Instead of getting Shocking Grasp, I got Corrosive Touch. But again, if I wanted to get over their resistances, because those little fuckers will resist like 10 points or 15 or 20 points of your acid damage, and fuck that shit, because I'm all about the acid, you bastard, so I should have grabbed that. Excuse me, I'm getting a little stuffed up here. Point is, this is really game changing, and not only did they do it justice, because in old like Pathfinder Kingmaker this never existed, but when we did anything that was element related in Kingmaker, it was always acid, cold, electric, fire, and that's the only 4 they gave a shit about. And I always bitched when I played the Kingmaker games. You probably heard me whine all the time about, well, Sonic gives no love. Well, here you go, baby. Hell, they even went us one further and gave us Negative Energy, which I don't even think is technically an element. But I ain't gonna fucking quibble. It's like opposite of electricity, maybe? I don't know. Point is, it's fucking cool. And, you know, again, interesting way of looking at things. So, again, if you have those builds like, I'm a fire guy and everything's fucking immune to fire, well, here you go. They're not immune anymore, at least not to you. Yeah, have some fun. You can unlock that, like I said, at level 1. There's no requirement for that shit. Obviously, you want to be able to cast spells, I'm guessing. Hell, this might even work on elemental bomb damage from Alchemist. I haven't even tested that yet, but that'd be fucking money. And again, you can get that at level 1 Mythic rank. Way the hell over here instead of abundant casting. And you probably should have done so if you were having trouble dishing out that damage. Well, now, boom, you're back to full damage, baby. So that's some fun. So I can see this being heavily picked by people. Ascendant summons. Remember, everyone's going to get summons. Every main character gets summons. Hell, look at right now. At level 2, everybody got a summon a wooden golem. I didn't even realize I fucking had it until I looked in here and was like, oh shit, I had that all along? What the fuck? Cool. So everyone gets a summon wood golem, and then everyone gets a summons based on the path that they chose. In this case, we got angels, so of course we're getting paladins and divas and all kinds of other weird fucking shit. Madonna shows up to kick some... I'm just kidding. But weird shit shows up to kick some ass. And again, they're cool, and the demons are... You summon demons, and of course the Azadas and whatever. Some of those bastards summon like golems and shit. So everyone's going to get summons. So again, Ascendant summons. Just because you're not a summoner class, hell, a fighter could benefit from this. Maybe not level 1, but certainly before... level 2's over, because they get that little wood golem. At least that's something that would get buffed. And what does it do? Bonus to their strength, dex, con, wisdom, and charisma. Obviously, you don't want them being smarter, because then they'll decide they're better than you. Fucking minions. Point is, they get a bonus equal to half your mythic rank. So half of 3 is 1.5. I'm assuming they round down, but I don't know that. But by 10, that's half of 10 is 5 plus 1. So 6. They'll get a 6 by the end of this game. To their strength, their dex, their con. That's a big jump, and then wisdom and charisma. And why would you care about those two stats? Well, first, wisdom, will saves. Charisma, some undead, or all undead, have high charisma because they don't have a con stat. Charisma is how they enforce themselves. So they get HP and fortitude saves based on their high charisma. So you can see the appeal here. And if this works for undead summoning, fuck yeah, bring the undead horde to bear down on my bad guys. That's what I'm all about. Necrolord, bitch, in this house. But again, obviously, a solid pick. Best jokes. I'll pick it, probably just to fucking toy around with it. I'll probably pick it on my main. I'll put it on like a bard character, a buddy of mine that has the ability to cast the one and only spell that it works on, Hideous Laughter. Again, another one kind of like our mage armor, archmage armor spell, or ability. It only works on mage armor. This one only works on Hideous Laughter, and presumably things like it. What does Hideous Laughter do? It makes someone laugh. Duh. But it locks them down in a way where they're not attacking you. They will defend themselves, but they are laughing their asses off. And it's a saving throw, obviously a save or suck spell. Kind of annoying in that regard. It's a low level spell, so there's that, so you get plenty of them. But it's one of those where it's just obviously meant for like a trickster build where you can kind of like make people laugh. And what does this do then? This one literally, if they fail their save and there's an enemy within 30 feet, it changes to that next enemy. And if they fail their save, it changes to the next enemy within 30 feet. So it can literally make the entire fucking room split a gut and fucking laugh their ass off, so you can just walk through and murder everything. And while that sounds awesome, and I'm sure it'll be used and abused, it's still one of those where you're going to run out of those spells eventually, or come across someone that's just straight up immune to that shit. And there might be shit here or shit over here that's going to make them less immune. So there's that. But it's still one of those where it's just like, it feels gimmicky, right? Boundless Healing. This one's awesome. So, two things about this that make this awesome. Your healing spells can be reached now, which means you can shoot them at a distance. Think of like something that doesn't exist in this game, Healing Word. The ability to do cure spells where you could like walk over and touch someone on the shoulder, clearly helpful in combat. But if they're across the fucking battlefield and you see your friend dying and you gotta fucking heal them up, Healing Word was the saving grace, because you could just say, heal, and they would heal. It'd be lame, but they would at least get some hit points back and keep from fucking dying. Well, this is kind of that same general principle. Now your healing spells that are touch-based, you can walk over and touch them on the shoulder, maybe you can't reach them. Now you can shoot it up to like 30 feet or some shit. Which is something. I mean, it's kind of fucking cool, but it's more than that. Keep reading. The amount of hit points it now restores depends entirely on your caster level and disregards any limits to the original spell. What does that mean? Let's take a low-level Cure Light Wound spell, level 1 spell that even bards have access to, and Inquisitors, classes that I'd even play. Cure Light Wounds, I want to say, heals like 1d6 damage, plus 1 per caster level. And I don't mean plus 1 die, I mean plus 1 hit point per caster level. Maximum 5. So once you get caster level 5 or greater, it's capped out. 5 is all you're going to get. Well, that takes away that limit restriction. So if I'm level 20, it's 1d6 plus 20 now. You can see the appeal here. Your heals are better. So again, you can see the fun you can have with this, and this is definitely something you want to get probably on a cleric. So anything that has that limit, the limit's taken away. And the fact we can now shoot heals across the fucking battlefield, fuck yeah, keep my cleric safe. Brutality Incarnate, kind of weird. This would be one that I might take like on a monk build, or I hate to say it, druid build, someone that's going to shapeshift in some way, shape, or form, where they get multiple fucking attacks because they're in a new shifted form. Those are natural attacks. And I say a monk build because I believe, I haven't tested this, I believe that your unarmed fist strikes are considered natural weapons, because they are. So this should work with like monk attacks, where you punchity, punchity, punchity. That would be a natural attack. And notice how this ignores anything but natural armor. Your natural attacks now ignore all damage reduction except the ever popular damage reduction where it says a number /dash, which means nothing penetrates it, and that's actually a lie. That end/dash, there is feats in the game that allow you to penetrate that too. So know that you'll eventually be shredding everything is the fucking point. So like I said, I can see this on a monk build. Cleaving shot, there's a lot of feats that are, or abilities, that are in here that are tied to being a ranged weapon attacker. And again, this could be fucking fun. Watch this one. Cleaving shot, you deal critical damage. When you do critical damage with your ranged weapon attack, so you need a weapon, so this isn't probably spells, or reduce the target to 0 hit points. So you crit him or you kill him. You do your weapon damage to all other enemies in a 10-foot fucking radius. Oh my god, how powerful does that sound? That sounds tits. Imagine that on Ekendayo. Oh Jesus, the shit that just gonna melt at his feet. Dimensional Retribution, another one that's gimmicky, but gimmicky in a good way. So think about those fighters out there that have no spells and rely on the team to buff them up. Give them something like this and watch them fucking go ham. What does this do? I'm targeted by a spellcaster. You son of a bitch. I'm a lowly fighter. How dare you pick on me with your spells? Well, guess what? Now I have Dimensional Retribution and I teleport to your fucking face because you dared to sling a spell in my fucking direction, you son of a bitch. And as my move action, in the next 2 rounds, I can go boop, I'm in your ass and just stabbing it. Just fucking cool idea, right? So again, situational, but situational in that ever popular, it's going to happen all the time, good way. So I can see the fun here. Distracting shots. And again, imagine that. I should point this out too. Again, can't talk enough about how movement being very popular in this game, because movement is so critical to the gameplay. Imagine being in full plate armor, weighed up, like heavy down with all your full plate armor, your massive weapons, and all the cool fucking gear you have. Yes, you're strong and everything else, but you're still fucking encumbered. So maybe you're only moving at like 20 feet around. So again, across the fucking battlefield from this corner, you get zipped from a lightning spell from this bastard over here, let's say. And now I can go poof and teleport more than 20 feet in one round and go bam, I'm in your ass. That's big. Just to point that out. Distracting shots, again, another range thing here. Your ranged weapon attacks are dangerous enough for the enemy to forget about melee threats. If you hit an enemy with a ranged weapon attack, they receive a penalty to armor class against melee attack equal to half your mythic rank for 1 round. So again, at best case, they're a level 10 mythic rank. They get a -5 to their armor class. But against a melee attacks, well, I'm not a meleeer, brother mutant. Who gives a fuck? Well, you do, because you got a team and then someone else up in their face. Maybe one of your summons, even, for that matter. If you're trying to run solo, you still have summons. Bring those little fuckers out. Let them melee the shit out of them. And then you stand back safely and just pepper him in the face and lower his armor class every fucking round. You can see the fun you can have with this one. Domain Zealot, this is another situational one. That obviously you have to have domains. Basically a deity of some kind. So again, probably a cleric would be the best one for this. Or an oracle, maybe. But definitely one of those two. You can get a domain if you're an Inquisitor. I wouldn't recommend this one for that, only simply because you only get 1 domain as an Inquisitor, if I remember correctly, instead of 2, like a cleric does. And you only get like a couple abilities, and to make those 1 or 2 abilities a swift action is probably not game breaking. So again, it's situational and kind of really cares. Elemental Barrage, another one that I keep confusing this with Ascendant Element. So when I play the game officially, hopefully I don't make this fucking mistake and I read the thing and don't get super excited, say Elemental, and go, yeah, it's my guy. No, it's not my guy. It's still good. This one's a little weird though, in that like we hit them with an element attack. Let's say we hit them with a fireball spell. We mark the target as a result of that, and then for the next 3 rounds, we deal energy damage from a different energy type. They take divine damage. And again, why it has to be a different energy type, I don't understand. So again, it's like the fact I'm hitting you with acid, and then cold, and then electric, and then fire, or whatever. I guess that's the thing, because you're just like mixing it up. but it throws divine damage on top of all that for whatever reason. So could be interesting, not amazing, I don't think. Enduring spells, these ones are weird. So there's enduring spells, and I want to say there's greater enduring spells or something similar. Again, requiring that you have enduring spells first to get it. Notice how this one here says if you have spells that last longer than an hour but shorter than 24 hours, they now last for 24 hours. So buff bot, baby. Oh yeah, enduring spells. And again, remember, these can be picked by anybody. Because this, just because I'm an angel doesn't mean that this is opening up for me. Remember, even my teammates can get like abundant casting or improved abundant casting or enduring spells or any of these mythic abilities. They get mythic abilities for just being a companion to the mythic hero that I am. So you can give this shit to like your buff bot clerics or wizards or inquisitors, alchemists, anyone that's casting spells that buff people, especially long-lasting buffs. Now they're 24-hour buffs. Fuck yeah, that sounds amazing. Then the greater enduring spells or the improved enduring spells, whatever the fuck it's called, takes it even further than that. Still 24 hours, but instead of it being a spell that has to last longer than an hour, it's spells that last longer than like 5 minutes, which there's plenty of spells that we have that do that. Bless, Blur, Expeditious Retreats. There's a lot of spells that are like 1 minute per caster level. Obviously, by that point, you're casting it for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 20 minutes, best case scenario. Why wouldn't you want to turn a Blur spell into a 24-hour buff? It's one of those set it and forget it. It's like every morning you wake up and everyone got haste on them. Poof, for 24 hours kind of shit. So again, enduring spells can be fun. And Force Vigor, this one's a weird one. Every time you damage an ally, so you bitch slap your team, they get a buff. What? I wouldn't want to hurt them. I mean, yeah, it could be the minorest of bitch slaps, but it's still one of those where it's like, why would I do that? So it's weird. I'm sure someone will min-max and it turns out that this is like amazing. So you just do like minimal damage, something where it's like 1 point of damage or something to everybody, including your team, and now suddenly your team's buffed. Which, this, I mean, if you want to role play this, to me, this would be one of those where you're like, a Lich would be a fine example, where it's like, you're not my team so much as you're my bitches. Slap your asses around, get back to fucking work kind of shit. Enforce Vigor, kinda, I guess, falls under that vein, but still seems weird. Ever Ready, this one's kind of trippy. You get more attacks of opportunity, and then the best part is for our attacks of opportunity, we get more attack bonus and damage bonus equal to our mythic rank. So someone does something like, say you fear somebody at point blank range, and with a melee weapon in your hand, a nice reach one, let's say like a fucking long spear, motherfucker runs away from you because he's panicking. He's like, and of course attack of opportunity, I get a plus, best case scenario, plus 10 to the swing and plus 10 to the damage because of mythic rank and Ever Ready. That sounds pretty fucking good. So again, you can see how this was built for those fighter types. Exposed vulnerability. Every third hit with a ranged weapon deals an additional divine damage, but only 1d6 for every 2 ranks. It's kind of lame sauce. But I suppose for like an archer build, you got a few picks anyway. Why not go for something that benefits your ranged weapon attacks? I suppose. Favorite meta magic. These ones are fun for me and my meta magic. You know how I love these things. For those of you that don't know, meta magics are ways for you to increase your spell capabilities. Extend doubles the duration. Reach lets you shoot them farther. Quicken is like a swift action casting, so you can cast a spell that's quickened and another spell right behind it in the same combat round. Empowered and maximized are usually about damage, not only, but again, maximized damage or empowered damage, which is 50% stronger. Obviously, nice buffs. Well, the downside of these are always the same thing. A level 1 spell that's reached is now a level 2 spell casting. It's burning up a higher spell slot. Same with Extend, it's a +1. So again, takes a level. Quicken takes 4. Empowers 2. Maximize takes 3. Well, what does this favorite meta magic do? It lowers it by 1. That means Maximize is now a 2 if I pick it. Or if I had picked Empower, 2 becomes 1. So an empowered spell that's level 1 is now a level 2 spell instead of it being level 3. So it's a less impactful, very precious to your spell slots. Extend and Reach are the money makers here because, again, they only cost 1 to begin with. So if I had Extend Meta Magic and I picked favorite Meta Magic Extend, any spell that I extend the duration, doubling the duration of, it's free. I mean, it's still a level 1 spell slot, or level 2, or whatever the level of the spell is, but it's extended now, and that's fucking money. Same with Reach. I can shoot shit farther, and it doesn't cost me nothing. Fuck yeah. So you can see the fun you can have here. Greater Abundant Casting, again, that's the one I told you about. That's the 7th, 8th, and 9th level spell, and again, 4 each a day of the 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's a lot of extra spells. Inspirational Leader, Last Stand, Leading strike. Every time you hit a target in melee combat, you leave a mark on it, and then your teammates capitalize it. Any ally that hits the marked target at that point deals divine damage equal to 1d6 per mythic rank to the target, consuming the mark. And again, remember, they get mythic ranks too. Right? So if they're mythic rank 10, they do 5d or 10d6 of damage extra to that target. But again, only once and done. It consumes the mark the minute you do that. Or the second, I should say, that you do that. So again, extra spike damage, I can see the appeal. Limitless rage, you gotta love rage, it never goes away. And again, now you get temporary HP instead, now equal to 1 HP for every 2 rounds of rage you should have had. So if you would have raged for, say, 40 rounds a day, just to throw out a number there, you have 20 extra HP while you're raging, and it doesn't burn up that rage use, which is kind of fucking cool. So we have rage, and more rage. And then, again, obviously, for a build that has rage. So we're talking about Bloodragers and Barbarians and shit like that. And Skulls, I think, too. Magic Nullification. Now this one, again, you can see how fighters get screwed. You know, take shit like this and say, fuck you, wizards. Because this one just makes you like an immune son of a bitch. You have to activate it. But basically makes you immune to magic and dispels any effects on you. Now, I haven't tested this one. If it works as intended, I'm assuming that's not your buffs. But maybe it is. But basically you become a null magic field centered on you and you only. Which just means fuck the game, because any magic effect coming your way, nope. I've decided this doesn't work on me for these rounds, minutes, days, whatever, however long it lasts. And just go to town beating the shit out of somebody, because that's fun. Master Shapeshifter, this one's interesting to me, because I always love me a transmutation school. Anyone that's under the polymorph effect that has this, any ability score modifier you have that's a physical ability score modifier, like a bonus to your strength, or your dex, or your con, they go up by 4 more. So think about an enlarged person, +2 to strength, +6 now. Weird thing I haven't tested about this, it says all the physical ability score adjustments are modified by +4. Now the thing that would be interesting is, remember, enlarged person not only makes you stronger, but also makes you weaker at the same time. How? It lowers your dex by 2. Well, does that dex go down by 6 now? Because that would suck. If it went up, because it's -2 and then +4, that'd be fucking tits. Enlarged person suddenly is awesome. Same with reduced person, because it lowers your strength by 2, and your dex goes up by 2. It makes you really dexterous. You can see the appeal here. So this could be really, really fun. And then throw this on, to me, this would be one of those where I'd be a real dick with it. Like, I'd make myself a little bitty person to begin with. Like, I'd be a halfling or a fucking gnome already, like the smallest category size character in the game. And then cast reduced person on myself with this on me, so I'm like a teeny tiny doll sized motherfucker, but with like a +6 to my dexterity. I'd be like running around with little daggers and shit, stabbing you in the ankles. Be all fucking funny with that shit. So I could see this being funny. And again, I have enough spells, depending on the type of character that I play, that I almost always have some sort of polymorph effect that I could throw on myself. And I don't know that this, again, this would be something to test, but polymorph to me means you change shape. So like bull strength, you didn't change shape. So bear's endurance, shit like that, you're not getting a +4 added to those. That's a shame, because that'd be fucking amazing. A bull strength that goes from +4 to +8 for your strength, fuck yeah. You can, or cat's grace, or bear's endurance, you get the idea. That'd be fun. If it works on that, awesome. I don't think it does, because again, you're not polymorphing. But if you turn into like a badger, a bear, fucking any of those spells that allow you to turn into like a elemental, and the elemental body 1, 2, 3, or 4, those are polymorph effects. Turn into a dragon kind 1, 2, or 3, that's a polymorph effect, and those get bonuses to like strength and con, for example. Add another 4 on top of that. I mean, just beast some motherfuckers. Because think about that dragon kind 3 spell, where you polymorph into a dragon kind, the biggest version of the dragon that you pick, and you get like a bite attack, 2 claw attacks, 2 wing attacks, a tail slap, and I think there's something I'm missing there. But the point is, you get like 6 or more attacks in a combat round. Now again, maybe you were a lowly wizard that got like 1, maybe 2 attacks in a round. You shift into fucking epic uber dragon form and then use this fucker to make your strength and your con and your dex or whatever go even higher. Just maul some shit. Just saying, this could be seriously fun. And also useful for alchemists, because again, alchemists have a lot of those transmutation spells in their spell repertoire. Mythic Charge, weird one. I like it. Situational, but again, another one of those where situational meaning the start of every fight you're probably doing it. And charging is one of those where everyone has access to it. You have to be in a melee weapon to do it. But you basically are going to run into battle and fucking stab someone in the face. You get a bonus to your swing. Well, now you get a bonus to your damage. And again, a decent amount. So the start of every fight, another 1, 2, 10d6 of damage. on top of your first fucking hit. Fuck yeah. I mean, it's almost like I'm killing that guy. Charge! He's dead. Alright, now who's left? Oh, you bastards. Okay, let's go kick your ass now. So again, you can see this being used a lot. Powerful Shadows, again, another situational one, but I can see playing an Illusionist build, especially going back to my Gnome idea. I want to say that I need to look into Spellbooks, but I want to say either a Bard. I can certainly make an Arcane Bloodline Eldritch Scion Gnome and have some serious fucking fun with it because they get a Charisma bonus and a Con bonus. Not Dex, which is a bummer, but so what, I'll work around it. And again, we get enough illusion spells for free with the Arcane Bloodline build that I can make a really convincing illusion build and have some serious fun with it. And again, your shadow spells are 20% more real. What does that mean? I mean, roughly, your shadow spells, for those of you who don't know, are fake, but they have like a number set to them. Like, if people notice the spells as an illusion, which is like a separate, I'm going to say like will save, they only take like 20% of the damage. So think about a fireball spell that does 10d6 of damage. Let's just say you did minimum. You did 10, right? Well, my throat's a little scratchy. If they notice that it's an illusion, they're not doing 10, they're doing 2, because it's a 20% spell. Well, now it's 20% more real. So instead of it being 2, if they notice it, now it's 4. It's not epic, it's not amazing, but it moves you in the right direction. Of your illusion spells are tougher. So these are all your Shadow Evocation, Shadow Conjuration. Shades was added to the game, which I missed it and loved the fact they added it. Hopefully modders chime in on this too, because some modders added all my favorite spells. For those of you who don't know, on spontaneous casters, especially like sorcerers or eldritch scions, was I like me some Shadow Enchantment, Shadow Conjuration, and Shadow Evocation. Those are like amazing spells because they're catch-all. In a nutshell, let's just take Shadow Evocation, one that's in the game. It used to be in Kingmaker. Shadow Evocation lets you cast 5 evocation spells by picking this spell. Your choice. When you cast it, you summon one of the 5 spells as a Shadow Illusion. So you get like Fireball, Lightning Bolt, and a few other fiddly ones that you get pick with, but usually it's one of those 2. Shadow Evocation, the way it's supposed to work is you can cast any evocation spell of a spell level lower than the one that Shadow Evocation is. So let's say Shadow Evocation is level 5. I can cast any evocation spell level 0 through 4 by picking that spell. And now imagine that on a spontaneous caster who just has access to it. You know, at any whip stitch. You're like Shadow Evocation. Which spell do I want? How about Fireball this time? Boom. Cool. Next round. Shadow Evocation. Well, the fire didn't work. How about Lightning Bolt? Boom. So you can see the fun you can have here. Because again, it's diversifies your spellbook in a great way. And again, adding more damage to that is obviously appealing. Range shots. Every time you miss an enemy, this one's a weird one. But again, ranged weapon attack build. So ranger, fighter, anyone that's going to be using a crossbow and sticking with it. Again, hell, even my alchemist would probably specialize in ranged attacks, probably javelins, dual wielding javelin, chucking shit. That's a ranged weapon attack. Watch this. If I miss, every time I miss the same target, I get a stacking +1 bonus to hit the motherfucker. So miss +1 on the next one. Miss again +2. Miss again +3. Miss again +4. Eventually I'm going to fucking hit you. And then what happens when I hit you? Every time I hit you, it goes down by 1. So if I was at +4 and then I finally hit you, now it goes down to +3. I hit you again, now it's down to +2. So it's that yin and yang. It's like a back and forth that you're going to have with I'm missing, I'm hitting, I'm back to missing again. Oh, I'm back to hitting again. And it's just going to cycle. I haven't done the math on this. I'm sure someone will before I get around to actually fucking crunching the numbers on this. But I can imagine this being very powerful. Because again, you get into some of those fights, especially if you don't switch targets. If you're like, he needs to die, that's the boss. Rangers, kill that motherfucker, or my ranged monk for that matter, land. Kill that guy. Ranging shots could be really useful. Because he's missing. This motherfucker's got armor up the yin-yang. Oh, I got enough pluses now that I'm finally hitting him again. Fuck you. Oh, I'm missing again. Oh, I'm back to hitting again. And you can see the fun you can have here. Rupture Restraints. A weird one. Again, this is another one that feels like something that should go on someone that doesn't have spellcasting. Why do I say that? It's not that no one can benefit from this, but those that don't have spells would really get fucked over by these effects. For example, imagine being the fighter up front and that you're paralyzed. Well, now I can just make that go away. And it's 3 times per day. You can use this ability as a free action. The list just automatically dispels any of these conditions that are on you. Just, I'm not paralyzed anymore. Fuck you. Boop. Smack with my sword. Or mace or whatever. Second Bloodline. Now we're talking. This is the shit that I really fucked up on. And I told you that there's some serious fun to be had here. Especially if you wanted me to go crazy with my Eldritch Scion build. You better fucking believe I'm going to get a second Bloodline. Because I totally missed this. I could have picked this, I believe, all the way here at level 1. And I should have done so. What does this do? Well, remember, I am a black dragon. So down here you'll see that it's grayed out. I could have doubled up and picked, let's just do it right now, something like Arcane Bloodline. Notice how I get all the shit for Arcane Bloodline now for free that it literally entails. If I would have went a pure Eldritch Scion level 20 build, I could be a Black Dragon Arcane Bloodline dual schooling motherfucker where I get School of Power, all the free spells that the Black Dragons get, and all the free spells that the Arcane Bloodline gets, and all the cool shit that they get mechanic-wise. What do I mean by mechanic-wise? Remember, the Arcane Bloodline gets free spells here, here, and here. Notice I'm only getting one. Remember, I'm a 10-10 split on this build. 10 levels of Eldritch Scion, 10 levels of Dragon Disciple. That didn't do me a bit of fucking good. So I fucked myself, quite frankly, by doing that. Well, if I did a 16-4 split, that'd be at least better. And I would at least get this spell and this spell for free. That's 2 of 3. That's money, and that's some serious fun I can have there. Because, again, these spells are not limited to just your Mega spell list. These are spells that are the Wizard spell list. So, in brief, because I don't want to go into graphic detail about this, in brief, you don't get many illusion spells as a Magus. You don't get any enchantment spells except for like a cantrip as a Magus, or any of the free spells that you get like here, 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 and on down. So those are enchantments or illusions. That's an exception to the rule. But if we're talking spells that you pick as you level up, you ain't fuck all in there, man, for enchantments. So if you want to be an enchanter Eldritch Scion, you're probably playing an Arcane Bloodline. So you can get one here, 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 and then of course we get 6 at level 19. That's 9 free spells from the Wizard Spellbook, level 1 through 6. That's a lot of choices. I highly tout it, and it's definitely fun. This is how I can make myself a solid gnome illusion build with the Arcane Bloodline. And what else might I pick for a second Bloodline? I could go Arcane and say Fey, because they get some Fey magic. That's spell 10 for free. They also get a bonus to the DC checks of all enchantment spells, and you better believe I'm going to grab some of those. Hell, they even give us a couple of enchantment spells. And a... I thought they gave us an illusion spell. I mean, Fleeting Glance is an illusion effect, but it's not a spell. I thought there was like Hypnotism. Oh, I'm thinking probably the Serpentine Bloodline, right? Hypnotism right there. Yeah. I think that's enchantment or illusion. I can't ever remember. I always get it backwards. But the point is, there's very little in the way of illusions or enchantments. Having double bloodlines would go a long way to solving that problem, because you could always take Arcane Bloodline as one of those choices, and then at level 9, 13, and 17, assuming you went that high in your Magus levels, you would get a free spell, a free spell, and a free spell, and that opens up a world of whoop-ass. My favorite picking here at level 9, for those of you that ever watch my old videos, knows that I always grab Sense Vitals. That's free sneak attack. Now, it's a spell. You got to cast it, and it has to last. All the stuff that's applicable for sneak attack is applicable to you now, which means you have to flank targets, make them flat-footed, whatever you can do, but there's a fucking million ways to do that. So that's an amazing spell and gives me temporary sneak attack, which really makes my damage surge like a son of a bitch. But again, imagine being an Arcane Bloodline and an Undead Bloodline together, and then going the Lich Path. You see the fun that I'm having here already with my Mythic Path. Because the Undead Bloodline, you basically become an undead motherfucker by the end of it. And it's some fucking cool shit. And you get spells again you don't normally have access to, like Animate Dead. Vampire Touch is one you're going to grab anyway, so, saves you on that pick. And if you're planning this, which is, again, the whole reason for this video, remember, if you're going to pick Arcane Bloodline like I should have done, well, I've just wasted like so many spells right now, because I've already picked Magic Missile. Now I've wasted it. I've already picked Dispel Magic. I've wasted it. I've picked Dimension Door. I've wasted that. I even been very stupid because I didn't realize this was a thing. Now that I know that this is a thing, the next time I go through with an Eldritch Scion build, you better believe if I don't play Arcane Bloodline from the get-go, which I probably will, but if I don't, I'll make sure that I do, and I'll make sure not to pick these spells so that when I do unlock it, which remember, I could have unlocked this shit, just to show it to you again, way the fuck up here. And this happens, Mythic Rank 1 is very early in the game, in my opinion. Probably like the end of Chapter 1 or the beginning of Chapter 2, something like that. Point is, because I don't know how the chapters go. But point is, you can get this abundant casting. I got that super early, and it was nice, and I appreciated it, but I can move that down one and grab something like Second Bloodline, because what it brings to the table, holy fuck balls, man. I can imagine an Arcane Abyssal Bloodline combo, an Arcane Undead, like I said. I can imagine, like right now I'm a Black Dragon, right? I could do a Black Dragon and an Earth Elemental combo. And you'd be like, why? Well, besides the fact I'm getting new acid spells for fucking free, Protection from Energy, a spell I didn't have access to, a massive Elemental Blast, that's a spell-like ability, that's fucking tits. Remember, I'm an Earth Elemental, technically, as well as a Black Dragon. Black Dragons, because they're associated with acid, their acid spells do more damage, so there's that. But also B, the earth elementals, or any of the elementals, can have a toggle that allows them to do damage for their spells of the element in question. So it means I can make a fireball spell that does acid damage now. I can do a snowball spell that does electric damage if I'm an air elemental. I turn that toggle on and cast any spell that does damage. Now it does electric damage instead, or acid, or fire, or cold. You get the idea. So a black dragon earth elemental bloodline, that's fucking awesome. I could see having a gold dragon fire elemental bloodline fetish going in, and specifically when the gold dragon mythic path unlocks. Fuck yeah. Tell me that doesn't sound fucking cool as hell. Because they're extra fire damage, and all my spells become fire if I want them to be. And we already showed you that there's an elemental thing way the fuck up here at the top. Remember I said that there's the ascendant element where I can just say, fuck it, you're not immune to fire no more, and you have no resistances. Fuck you. Fire dragon. I'm just saying. It sounds cool, right? So again, there's some fucking cool shit that I'm going to get to unleash on you guys. With even subcaster builds, these are going to be fucking fun. The bigger they are, this is another one of those that's situational, but again, I could see being a dick about this one. So what does this one do? You gain a bonus on your attack rolls with ranged weapons only, equal to a penalty to the armor class the target receives for their size. So again, if you're fighting a giant, it's easier for you to hit them because they're big and you're small. They have an armor class penalty because of their size. Well, they also have anyone has an armor class penalty if I'm teeny tiny, like say a halfling. Well, what if I do reduced person on that halfling? Again, I'm even teeny tinier and you're way fucking bigger. So again, you have an armor class penalty to me. So again, I got another bonus. So now imagine me fighting a giant as a mini fucking halfling and just whipping out a fucking halfling sling staff and just crushing him with fucking stones to the face. Just pop, pop, pop. And again, it's not going to be epic numbers, but I can see this being funny. And again, I can have some fun with that. Unstoppable, another one where, again, anytime you become paralyzed, you become staggered instead. Now, I can see this being useful. Anytime you become nauseated, you become sickened instead. Shaken instead of frightened. And that's just all from an ability that's always on. Imagine that on a fucking fighter. I'm not paralyzed, I'm staggered. Well, what's stagger do? Remember, it allows you to get like an attack off a round, and like that's it. Like you can move or you can attack, not both, and you don't get multiple attacks. You get one swing and you're done. So, what if that one swing happens to be cleave? And that's a clickable button, right? Or vital strike. That's a clickable button where I can just say, no, I just want to do 3 times the damage. I'm only getting one attack anyway, so fuck it. Here you go. 3 times the damage. Boom! Fuck you. I'm not paralyzed. So you see what I'm saying? There can be some fun that you have with something like that. And I can see this definitely on a fighter, like a non-caster build that doesn't have access to protection from shit like that. And for those of you that don't know, nausea really bones you too. So these are really bad effects. So paralysis, I don't have to go into detail about why that's bad. But nausea is the one where you're basically puking your guts out. You'll defend yourself, but you're not attacking at all. Well, that basically means until the nausea wears off, the fight's over. You're not doing shit. You're just standing there taking it on the chin. Man, fuck that shit. So you can see how having that go away is nice. And the frightened, maybe like, who gives a shit? Shaken and frightened, those are both bad penalties. Yes, but shaken, I'm scared. But frightened, I'm running the fuck away. And that's usually attacks of opportunity. And fuck you. No, I'll be shaken and take a -2 to my swing and my saves and whatever else. Fine, it sucks. I'll kill you for making me scared of you. Fuck you, you prick. So again, I can see this being an amazing upgrade for somebody. Notice there's ones that are locked here, and then they have prerequisites like crazy. But again, we'll go through them too, because why the fuck not? This video's already long, so might as well make it a million times longer. Abundant arcane pool, abundant vein, abundant casting, etc. and so forth. Basically more of the same thing. Notice something else though. Notice how I can't get abundant arcane pool, which is kind of a bummer, because I do have not an arcane pool as a Magus. Arcane pools are for Magus. I'm an Eldritch Scion, a subclass of Magus, and it's an Eldritch pool, so it's not the same thing, and apparently I'm not allowed to get it, which is a bummer. I don't care, because I don't really need 10 more fucking Arcane pool points or Eldritch pool points, and they're not that amazing, but I mean, it's kind of a bummer that we get screwed. So this is probably a glitch that probably should get fixed. And then other ones besides. But, and notice that it's not 1-for-1 translation for all these. For example, like Abundant Smite, you don't get 1 for every mythic rank, you get 1 for every 2. Because Smite Evil is so fucking OP. They decide to say, fucking no, it's you get an extra use for every 2 mythic ranks you have. So again, by level 10 mythic rank, you'll get 5 extra smites. That's not great, but it's not bad. I can see that being at least a pick for us, a fucking paladin. Any means necessary, a Hell Knight buff, beneficial curse against something for an Oracle, Bloodline Ascendants. Now this one's weird, and I can't say as I love this idea. You're a paragon of your sorceress bloodline, and it's because I can't pick it, I'm assuming one of two things. It's either because I'm already level 20, so I already have this built into my character, so I don't need it. Because I do have a bloodline. That's obviously the V there. It's supposed to be a green check mark. So it's verified that I have it. But I'm already level 20, so I already have this effect. So I don't need it, so maybe that's why. But if not, it could be specifically limited to sorcerers. What this does is if you're level, let's say 10 sorcerer, and you pick this, whatever your bloodline would have given you at level 20, which remember my bloodline, let's just pick another dragon one. Where you at? The second bloodline. Yeah, I'm also a brass dragon, sure. The level 20 ability is the power of the worms. Okay, so notice how you're immune to paralysis, sleep, and in this case, fire, and you also have blind 6 at 60 feet. So I would get all that now, even though I'm not level 20, because I picked the Bloodline Ascendants. That's all that really does. But there's some really good shit that's at level 20, and maybe you don't want to wait till the end of the game to have the immunity to all the shit, because it always felt weird to be like in my case, related to black dragons, but acid damage can still hurt me. What? Fuck you, Bloodline Ascendants, bitch. Bam. So again, it solves some of those problems. And there's some other stuff at level 20, depends on which type of bloodline we're talking about, that the level 20 upgrade is fucking amazing sometimes. Like, immune to critical hits and sneak attack damage. Yes, please, fucking give me that shit. That's an elemental bloodline that gets that, I think. But again, there's some shit out there at level 20 that's just fucking like, you're a monster. Like even the Abyssal bloodline at level 20, like their upgrade is like they're immune to electricity like all demons are, and immune to poison like all demons are. So you just become like a fucking like juggernaut in the battlefield. They throw down like stinking clouds and cloud kills and other poison spells. They're like, fuck you, I'm immune, bitch. Running around at level 10 with your fingers up in the air, so you're giving them the one up. Just, kind of funny to me. Defensive study, again, one that has a study target. I forget which class has that, but Ranger probably, or something similar. Everlasting Judgment. Now we're talking something for an Inquisitor. Those judgments that they have are limited uses a day. Now you can use them any number of times a day. And for those of you that don't know, as you level up your Inquisitor, if you have judgments, you get 1, then you get 2, then you get 3 that you can turn on at any given time. So there's a laundry list of them. I'm not going to go over all of them, but just to give you a couple of the selling point ones, there's ones that can buff your attack bonus, ones that can buff your armor, ones that can buff your save, one that can allow you to regen, ones that increase your spell pen. Yeah, you heard me correctly. And again, you will build up if you stay as a purist Inquisitor, it goes from 1 to 20 as an Inquisitor only. You will gradually unlock where not only you can have 1 on at any given time, suddenly you can activate 2 with no penalty. Then you can activate 3 with no penalty. Now imagine always being able, like every fight, to turn 3 things on. Like, I have better armor, I have better swing, and I have health point regeneration on at all times. Fuck you, game. It's like a fucking win button right there. That one would be amazing for an Inquisitor build. You better believe if I played Inquisitor, or if I have an Inquisitor on the team, they're getting this one first and foremost. A full reservoir. This one's for the Arcanist. Again, OP as fuck. Greater enduring spells. That's the one again that you can get the +4 spells. Or sorry, greater enduring spells. Blah blah blah. Brother Mutant is tired. Enduring spells. That was the one. Remember, you could if the spell lasted longer than an hour, now it lasts for 24 hours. This is the one where if it lasts more than 5 minutes, it's now 24 hours. So you can see the appeal here. And again, you may think, well, how many spells do that? Well, there are several. The downside is you'll notice that some of these spells. Let's take a spell that's like one of the worst cast scenarios. There's spells out there that are 1 round per caster level. Well, your caster level 20. But what does that mean? That's 2 minutes. Well, that's not 5, so that's not going to help. So think of your haste spells and shit of that nature. Like, I wanted a haste spell to be perma. Well, there might be a solution. First off, notice that if you were a wizard, full caster level 20, and a lich, full level, mythic rank 10, that's 20 and 10. Your caster level 30, bitch. So how long does that haste last now? Well, it's only 3 minutes. Yeah, what if you extend it with meta magic? You've doubled the duration from 3 minutes to 6. Could that be one that gets 24 hours? I don't know, class. But it would be nice to check it. Wouldn't you love to have haste on you and your party for 24 hours at a time? You wake up, you cast haste, and everybody's zippy everywhere. Woo! That'd be fucking cool. So I can see the fun here. Impossible domain. This is a number where you get like another domain. Obviously, you'd have to have a domain, I believe, to begin with. So this is like Paladin, or not Paladins, clerics and maybe oracles and inquisitors for sure. It's probably a waste on an inquisitor, but yeah, hey, I ain't got harsher buzz, man. If you want it, go for it. But clerics would definitely benefit from this more. Notice how it ignores all domain prerequisite. That means if your deity that you're following is always like Mr. Goody Two Shows, but you wanted the evil domain or whatever the fuck the evil domain's called, You could get it, I think, is what this is telling you. Improved abundant casting, we already grabbed that, we already talked about that. Kinetic overcharge, again, this is for Kineticist. Fuck you guys, I hate you guys ruin my game. Mythical beast. This is the one where, again, you remember we saw the Ascendant summons, where your summons were like a +6 to strength and dex and con and wisdom and charisma. This is similar, but to your animal companion. And again, makes your animal companion fucking awesome. So you can see the appeal here for anyone that has an animal companion. Let's get them stronger, tougher, faster, all that fucking shit. Over-infused blast, again, Kineticist, fuck you, I hate you guys. Second, Bloodrager Bloodline. Notice how the Bloodragers have their own separate category for Bloodline. But it's the same general principle. All the benefits that you would get from that Bloodline, again, you get in spades, basically, for the Bloodrager. And again, some of those Bloodline upgrades are fucking money. Like the Abyssal Bloodline, if you, for the Eldritch Scion anyway, I don't know how it works for Bloodrager, but for the Eldritch Scion, at level 9, 13, and 17, they get a +2 permanent boost to their strength. So you imagine me playing a Demon Mythic Path where I've picked an Eldritch Scion that had the Arcane Bloodline for the extra spells, and then went for the Abyssal secondary Bloodline to get the extra strength and made a strength-based build. Forgot about it. Oh my god, the damage is going to be fucking brutal. But you can do the same thing for a Bloodrager is the point. Second Mystery, again, you'd have to have a Mystery, so an Oracle. Second Spirit, again, you'd have to have a Shaman Spirit. So throw Elixir. Now, this is the one that I said that I could see having some fun being a Alchemist. Remember, they have this thing called the Infusion. The Infusion is a prerequisite. It means you have to be an Alchemist. But the Infusion allows you to take your spells, your infusions, your elixirs, and infuse them in a way that you can use them on other people or other bad guys. Well, now, instead of it being a touch, where I'll have to walk over and heal you, or walk over you to cast shield spell on you, or walk over to heal an undead, which means damage an undead, I can shoot it at 30 feet. Pew pew! Healing touch laser beams. Fuck yeah, or buffs across the map. Oh shit, that guy needs a shield spell. Shield spell at 30 feet. Foof, here you go, buddy. You're good. Love you, man. You're the best. Throw elixir. Fucking sweet. Witch Wandering Hex. Obviously, you need to have the Hex ability, or probably be a witch, or both. Again, you can see we have a laundry list of shit in here, dude. And I'm not going to go over all the different angel, demon shit. We'll do that when the game releases officially, because there's so many things that could still change. But again, just as a reminder, everyone's going to get some type of a spellbook, and that spellbook can either be merged with your spells if you were a full caster. Again, Angel with a divine casting, Lich with arcane casting, or just a separate spellbook in general. And again, Angels can give you a separate spellbook, and so could Liches, so you don't have to merge. So everyone's going to get spellcasting in this game. Everyone's going to get summons in this game. Everyone's going to get buffs and debuffs in this game. So again, there's just a laundry list of shit that's coming. Tell me what you guys think. What do you want to see? Post that shit down below. Can't say it enough times. I want to hear what you guys want to see for an LP. When this game comes out, I want to have a plan for what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. I can put the plan together, but I need guidance. I need you to tell me what you want to see. You want to see that damn pure fucking undead run? You want to see a little bitty halfling go to town and whooping demon ass? Hey, man, fucking put that shit in the comments down below. Let me know roughly what you want to see. And again, don't steer me into it. I want you to have this at level 3, this at level 7. After that, you must pick this. Find this weapon in the corner of... I don't want that shit. I'll play my game. But tell me, what kind of class or subclass you want to see, what kind of mythic path you want me to take, shit like that. And alignment even, for that matter. And with that, though, my name is Brett. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.